Last couple of innings of today's ball game at your 2025 BC Natural Resources Forum. Could I get you please to put your hands together and offer a warm BCNRF welcome to the Minister of State, Brittny Anderson, who is Minister of State for Local Government and Rural Communities, all the way from the Kootenays. What, do you got a bunch of friends as mayors there, Minister? Please give it up for Brittny Anderson.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you to the people that were cheering in the front. I really appreciate that, Sarah Story, so thank you, Mayor. My name is Brittny Anderson, and I am the MLA for Kootenay Central. I'm from Nelson originally. I grew up in the Kootenays, and now I am also the Minister of State for Local Government and Rural Communities. And a lot of people have been asking me, what is a Minister of State? And my role is actually completely new within this government. Of course, there have been previous Ministers of State, but in my case, it's rare because the minister that I'm working under is actually the Premier. So David Eby is my minister, and I work within the Premier's office. And that's really a testament to the importance that Premier David Eby felt our rural communities, and that really strong need for a voice for rural communities within our cabinet and for government. So really what my role is going to be, the first aspect is local government. So I'm going to be working really closely with UBCM in the role that the previous ministers of municipal affairs would have done with that work. I'm going to be working with regional districts and mayors and councillors in a really typical way that you would have seen before in those roles. But the piece I'm most excited about is also rural communities. I grew up in a rural community. I'm deeply passionate about rural communities. And I know, coming from rural communities, sometimes we feel that government, they've almost got it right for us, but not quite. And so within my role, what I want to do is help to find creative solutions. And I know a lot of you in this room have really great ideas and really creative solutions so that we can make sure that rural British Columbians can thrive. It's also about filling some of those gaps. So when we look at healthcare, for example, I am so excited about the investments that we have made. On Friday, I'm going to be starting my northern tour, but it's really the southern part of northern BC as I travel from here to Fort St. James and then spend the next few days on my way out to Terrace. And so one of my first stops is going to be the hospital that was recently opened this week in Fort St. James. And so those are the type of investments that we've been making across rural BC, things like connectivity, things like transmission lines, but also in the election, one of the things that I had been working on as co-chair of Rural Caucus was transportation for healthcare. Because we know we talk about healthcare, we want all British Columbians to have access to the healthcare that they deserve. But for rural British Columbians, that often meant a trip to a larger center to see a specialist, for example. And so our government, what we're going to be doing is we had a travel assistance program that would help in some ways with things like flights or ferries, but it didn't cover things like mileage, which I know members of my community and in many of the communities that you either represent or work in, they end up having to drive to larger centers to receive that care. And so what we're going to be implementing is before you actually have to go get that care, you're able to get those expenses covered in advance. And so those are just some of the ways that we're going to be supporting rural British Columbians in new and different ways, and I'm really excited about that work. And so my job is going to be really hearing from all of you, hearing from leaders, whether you're a mayor or a chair of a regional district, but First Nations are going to be critically important in my work, and then leaders from different businesses and sectors, but then also hearing from people on the ground, because a lot of times when we hear from them and we hear their stories, it's able to spark an idea of how we're able to more broadly support rural British Columbians. And I know with what we're facing down south, it can feel a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But what I hope that we take away from this, especially in this conference, is that we're really able to pull together as a province, as communities, and work together for the prosperity for all of us. And so with that, I really look forward to hearing from all of the mayors and their discussion. Thank you very much.